commentary, son.
Holy shit!
I hear myself thinking.
One little action can really make a whole huge deal in the entire set.
The unit you did was fucking stupid.
Happy feet, combo combo.
PC survives that attack. Both players are on their feet again. They hit each other. Oh my god.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 7 of Directional Influence, brought to you by BVV Gaming. We have a pretty stacked episode today after coming off a week of no episode thanks to MLG DC in Washington DC, if you didn't get that. With me tonight, back again, is Punishment Divine, aka Matt. Matt, thanks for joining us instead of bailing like last time.
It wasn't bailing.
It was bailing.
It was just circumstances.
Okay, that's what you're going to call him. Also, we have Will again. Will, how you doing?
I'm doing alright. Matt No Johns, get a cell phone.
Yeah, seriously. This kid doesn't have a cell phone. Anyway, joining us, we have 3 pretty awesome people. Once again on the show is Alex Strife. Alex, how you doing?
Doing pretty okay. Just hanging in there, enjoying life.
Awesome. Also with us, the most dangerous snake, Fatal of Massachusetts. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good right now. I'm trying to book flights for Dallas, make me kind of mad, but other than that, life's great.
And finally, the Olimar main that everybody loves, Rich Brown. How you doing?
Doing good, man. I'm exhausted from the weekend, but I slept like almost the entire day, so I think I'm good.
Awesome. Episode 7, we're covering Washington, D.C. MLG. Just happened last weekend. Coming at you.
Alright, so MLG DC is pretty epic. How many entrants do we have, guys? Does anybody know?
We had actually about 178, 79, I think a little bit less than that.
We need to step it up because, as far as I know, the max is 256, is it not? So, and we came close at MLG Columbus. We hit 250, but there's no reason for this. We gotta get more people going to MLG. Anyway, it was pretty crazy. Let's see. What was our carpool this time, since I always talk about our carpools? This time I actually didn't drive, which was great. We arrived there, we stayed at Coney's place. Thanks so much for housing us, Coney. That was really a lot of fun, even though your shower sucks and it's cold as hell. And I couldn't stay there more than one night. I'm sorry for ditching you guys, but I definitely got into a hotel after that night. Other than that, I mean, I don't know, there's so much to talk about at MLG DC. I don't know, how was the trip for you guys? A couple of you guys down there. How was the travel?
It was nice because for a change, actually, I got to travel with someone. I traveled with Larry, and in the past, I've just been doing this kind of on my own. So I've just been like in my own head and just kind of whatever. But having someone to go with was really cool. And we got raped by the taxi driver. We were supposed to, I mean, figuratively, of course, but we were supposed to spend probably like $15-20 on the hotel from the airport to the hotel. And the dude ended up charging us like $40 each, which was awful. And like it was funny because we got to the hotel and I was like, "Yo, we're broke college students. Can you give us a break?" He's like, "Oh yeah, you guys just don't have to tip me." And he took like $1 off the entire thing. So that was pretty unfortunate. But other than that, it was smooth sailing all the way.
Fatal, what about you?
Well, I traveled there by myself. I took a plane. It was pretty nice. It was only like an hour and a half flight, and it was free, of course, thanks to MLG, so that was nice.
This is for you, Fatal. You obviously placed very well compared to everybody else, but was it a different kind of tournament? Did it feel different than other MLGs previously that you've been to?
I've been to every MLG so far. I wouldn't say it felt any different. I mean, it's basically the same exact tournament 5 different times in the season, so I don't know. It felt like the usual tournament, but before I came to the tournament, I was like, this tournament, I'm getting paid. I was like, no matter what, and I ended up doing that. I made $500 for 5th place, so that was nice.
And Rich, what about you?
Well, I did not go to Orlando, but I was able to go to Columbus, and there definitely was a different vibe about this one, just because, there were, not maybe initially, but, like, once there were so many upsets, it was just like, alright, like, something different's gonna happen here. There's gonna be a real shakeup, and sure enough, I highly doubt there's a single person who's top 8 or even top 16 for that matter, looked anything like what they'd initially predicted. So yeah, I think there was definitely a somewhat different vibe as the tournament progressed.
All right, now speaking of upsets, first let's start with Fatal. Who were the people that you played in bracket? And because I actually don't know all the people that you played, so maybe we'll even hear something more. But I know there are definitely some upsets here. So who is it that you played in your bracket to get the 5th place that you came in?
Okay, from start to finish, my first match was against King Toon, a pretty good Toon League from Philadelphia, I think he's from, or Pennsylvania or something. I don't know, but I barely slipped by him. I was so close to losing, and that was the first round for me. That was really scary. So after I beat King Toon, I played Pink Fresh, which is he's supposedly the best Lucas. I beat him pretty bad. I think it was like a 2 stock and then a 1 stock low percent, and then after that, it was Ninja Link, who was practicing Olimar for me, which made me kind of mad because I hate Olimar, but I ended up 2-0ing Ninja Link. And then after Ninja Link, I fought Candy, which I was actually surprised at how badly I beat him, but I don't know if he was just off, but I 3-stocked his Snake and then 2-stocked his Meta Knight. I was like, oh wow, so I guess I am a pretty good Snake. So after Candy, what was after Candy? After Candy, I played Tyrant, which I wanted to rematch so bad with Tyrant, because after Raleigh, I barely lost him, so I was like, by the time DC came around, I was gunning for him the most, so when I knew I was playing him, I was like, I got this. And went to game 3, last hit, I pulled out, I was so happy, and then that pretty much guaranteed me 5th place. And then I played Rich after that, and I failed versus Olimar, so Rich raped me. And then I played M2K and Losers, and then obviously, yeah, that didn't go too well.
And Rich, you obviously had a pretty epic one considering the place you got. What about you? How was your tournament experience, so to say?
Oh man, well, first round had a bias, that pretty easy there. Second round, Mr. Tommy Greenshirt, a Sonic main out of I think New York, he almost made none of this happen. The first game, I have a legit John my first game. I completely forgot to turn my tap jump off. So I kept trying to up smash out of shield, and I was just like jumping into all the rape, and I couldn't adjust in time, and he got me. So I brought it back to FD game 2, and I was able to beat him pretty solidly. And then he went Picto Chat and was just gimmicking the hell out of me, and it was really close, and a lot of credit to him. You know, he played really well, and I was just able to get in those last couple hits at the end and pull it out. My third round, I got really fortunate because the guy that I played, he had a bye first round, and his second round didn't even show up. And he even admitted to me, he's like, man, I do not belong in this round. And me being the nice guy I am, I was like, oh, you'll do all right. You might win. And he picked Link, and I was just like, well, this is not going to end well for you. And it didn't. I 3-stocked him both games. And so that was the end of day 1. Day 2, I had Tear Bear. And he'd actually beaten me at the local 2 weeks ago. He beat me really bad, actually, so I was a little nervous, but I got my sleep, and I ate a good breakfast, and I was feeling good. It was really close, and I was able to pull it out. And then after that, I had M2K, which I'm sure we'll talk about that more a little later. And in a nutshell, I was really determined. I knew I'd been watching versus Brood a lot, and I just basically copied all the stuff he did and integrated that into the stuff I do, and I was able to pull that out. And that was. I guess we'll talk about that more later, but that was really awesome. And after that was Adamisk, who went Ice Climbers on me, and both matches were really close. And thank God that Trevor keeps dropping grabs, because that was the only reason I made it through. Then after that was Fatal, and that was a really fun set. He raped me on Lilat, and it was a lot closer than he's very humble. It was a lot closer than he admitted, but I was able to pull that out. And then. Then ADHD, that was a super close set, but I was able to kind of break his spirits on the Greens match. I 3-stocked him pretty bad thanks to some of those exploding blocks. Those alone did like 100% for me. And then, Wyatt really stepped it up there in grand finals. He was moving a little faster, and I couldn't quite keep up with him, so he was able to get me. But next time, hopefully, that was definitely a lot better than I thought I was going to do. I was really gunning for top 8, and I just kept winning, so I just kind of rode the wave,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're all trying to follow you at home, because out of all of us, I wasn't able to go. And, you know, the live blog doesn't get updated as much, so we're trying to get, like, updates from people, and we heard you were, like, beat M2K, and then you beat Animus, we're like, holy shit. And then, like, 10 minutes later on the live blog, oh, Rich Brown beat M2K, yay. Like, thanks. But,
By the way,
yeah.
I know you guys all at home reading the live blog on Smashboards. I know you're all as entertained as we are by, like, because one of the highlights of MLG, for me at least, the best thing is when you get back to your hotel or your room, wherever you're staying, you get internet access and you read and you look for all the crazy typos and like the strange things that they say.
Oh yeah, they have bad stuff. Like I think it was at one point where they were talking about like losers finals and they kept saying winners. Like somebody lost and then fell to to the winners finals, and they never fixed it. And then like they kept spelling Poltergust's name wrong.
Poltergeist.
They were playing Poltergeist. Yeah, and they spell your name wrong, Rich. Actually, they put Brown. They just put Brown. Brown won.
Wow.
It's Brown. But anyway, MLG, step it up, get a stream.
Speaking of Poltergeist, I mean that's like we just went through. That's Fatal over Tyrant. I mean that's a huge upset. Fatal said it himself. I watched his set last time. I'm pretty sure Game 3 was on PictoChat at Raleigh, but like that was ridiculously close. But that's still like a really awesome upset for Fatal to take out Tyrant, and obviously Rich Brown over Mewtwo King. There are videos on YouTube, especially of his reaction at the end, but we'll get into that. Oh my god, it was so ridiculous. Anyway, those are two crazy upsets. Let's see, other upsets I can think of.
Didn't you beat Inui and then you texted me how excited you were?
Oh, I was actually down by like a stock and a half on Rainbow Cruise.
Oh my god.
I was over 100% on Rainbow Cruise. There was no reason I should have won versus Inui, actually. I was so hyped to win that.
He was so salty after he lost.
Not hitting on Inui, I was just pointing that out, so.
I'm pretty sure I got shuttle looped on the top of the map before it started to transform back into the boat, and like I must have DI'd it well because I almost died off the blast zone but didn't, and then I kind of camped through the boat part. I ended up punishing one of his shuttle loops out of shield with like an up smash. I caught him, punished him with a down smash, it stage spiked him, and then on his last stock I just kind of like tried to run away and he shuttle looped and I didn't let go of the edge and he SD'd on his last stock and it was ridiculous.
Classic Inui.
I actually told him that that's how I was going to beat him in the set too, which was pretty funny.
Matt, you're so there by yourself. And
Yeah.
I wanna know how you did at DC.
I don't want to talk about
Just
it.
because. So how did you do? Because I'm not gonna let up. How was your experience?
Day one, I got around 3 friendlies in before I had to play my tournament set. I ended up having to play Sorison, some Falco, I don't know where he's from. And game 1 I beat him pretty handily. And game 2, I went Marth because he went Battlefield. I was Wario game 1. So game 2 I went Marth on Battlefield, and I get really discouraged when I can't do basic technical things, and when I tried to Mike Hayes dance him, it literally would not work. Like I couldn't get a regrab from a forward throw, and I was just like, wow, that's really upsetting. And I ended up losing. And then game 3, I took him to Rainbow, I went Wario, and I made so many mistakes. He had a lot of bad habits that I didn't like I saw them, but I felt like I couldn't do anything about them. And I ended up losing. I don't know, like it was pretty awful. And then day 2, I was 30 seconds too late and I got DQ'd.
Wow, really?
Yeah. My bracket would have been a Mario, who I play against every day of my life, a girl, another girl, and then Kiraflax, who I'm pretty confident against. But I mean, it was pretty upsetting considering. Wow. I really think I could have probably made like 17th if I just showed up day 2 at least. Something close to there.
Sucks, man. Really sorry to hear it. But anyway, let's talk about cool stuff. Yeah, perfect segue to the good stuff.
Who did Kiraflax play in bracket?
Oh my god. Oh my god, that was the most epic moment of MLG. Cheese losing to Kiraflax.
For reasons that, like, we probably can't possibly explain, one of the most hype matches was actually Kira Flex versus VVV Cheese. And it was just incredibly hype, like, from the beginning, because, like, they both went in really confident. Kira Flex is coming from Arizona, so, you know, we're all backing him. He's the only person from Arizona. Like, he's coming all out by himself to MLG, and the entirety of, you know, New York, New Jersey give him a lot of support. And I think the trash talk might have actually made the set kind of in his favor a little bit. I don't know what you guys think.
It should be noted, too, that I think he's, like, I'm pretty sure he's top 3, maybe 1 in Arizona. So it's not just some random dude coming out. Like, the guy's got some skills. He's up there.
Oh, no, Kira Flex he's a really, really good Pit and R.O.B player. And I played him at Apex 2010 in a couple of money match sets. And no, his Pit is really impressive. I didn't know his R.O.B could take on Meta Knight like that, though. So, I mean, that set was really hype. There were people jumping up and down, and we were freaking out, and it was a lot of fun. We pretty much got everyone into it. Once New York, New Jersey goes hard, we got everybody into it. It was a lot of fun.
Where's your hat? Where's your hat?
Yes, the "Where's your hat" chant is like the best idea that we've ever come up with, I think. I think
I'm sure people want to know too. The reaction once. I don't even remember what he killed him with. I think he got like some neutral air in the ceiling.
Neutral air, yep.
Yeah,
I remember thinking at the end of the match, I'm like, what is he doing? Why is he not shooting a laser at Meta Knight in the air? He just kind of flies up there and he nairs. I was like,
and of course, the reaction too. She's just that controller just hit the ground at 100 miles an hour, and he just. I just watched him the whole time. He just kind of walked around like the entire Smash setup, and then he calmed down pretty fast. It was like a really quick initial 30-second. Oh my god, I'm gonna kill everyone, and then like it was 30 seconds a minute after he was already smiling, but like that was still it was some classic cheese right there.
Pretty much describes the emotions that run through everybody at MLG. It's even amplified because it's MLG. Like, everything that you feel, your nervousness, your everything, anxiousness, your happiness, as Rich would know.
Yeah.
Everything is amplified at MLG. It's really crazy. You guys gotta go.
You spend so much time just like, you're hyped for it, and just when you're traveling, it's all that's on your mind, and you're really preparing for these 10-15 minute moments that can make or break you, and that's all you're preparing for. So it's a lot of emotion on the line, and whether, your happiness is amplified, your sadness is amplified. Like at Raleigh, I had a really close set against Tyron. I was about to win, and he gimped me, and I had a cheese moment. I threw my controller, walked around
Yeah, Rich, I actually watched that set, as it was going on. That was really close. I was kind of upset you didn't win. That was definitely your game. So, I would have slammed my own controller in that situation too.
Yeah. I think a lot of people would have, but you know what, I think it kind of helped me for DC, because I was just like, that is a big thing. I think anyone going to any future MLGs or big tournaments should know is just just go and have fun. I mean, I know that's so cliche, but I went into DC just thinking I just can't wait to see all my friends and just hang out and let the chips fall where they may. If you do well, you do well, and if you don't, just whatever, but just enjoy the time you're there, because there's no use in getting overly emotional. Unless you win, get really emotional, but don't let the upsets or the losses get you down too much.
Back on the old show, I was on the Losers Bracket, which is another VV show, very critical of MLG. And I wanted to know, because I haven't been to an MLG event since 08 Meadowlands. Played Gears 1. Yeah. How, do you have what was one thing you could point out that maybe you thought could have been done better?
I can tell you, because I'm the only one here who's been to I've been there every year. One of the things I noticed MLG has a problem with is just that other than the game setup, everything just feels the same. Like, I have no urge to go to a Dallas or a Riley or anything like that, because I know the one closer to me is going to be the exact same feel in terms of setup and everything. And one of the big things I noticed was that I just felt like, yes, I understand Halo is the main game, but they really need to learn how to treat other games equally, because really, when they push everything to the side and just put all the sponsors, it really deters other players from coming The next big thing I would have to say would be the actual booths. There was a little bit of an issue with the Dorito stand.
I heard there was a lot of drama about the Dorito stands. I don't know.
There were three big things. There were three things that happened.
Okay.
One I already told you guys, and another big thing was the Dorito stand. Basically, the Dorito stand was left untouched. Like the people who ran it left, and then I don't know who came up with the idea of starting to take everything from the Dorito stand, and then there was like a giant mob, and then it was like apparently they broke something that pissed people off. The Tekken community, as long as Sony backs them, will always be there. Halo will be there. StarCraft will be there. But overall, that's pretty much my thoughts about, the years I've been there and the years I haven't. Because when you go back to the Halo 1 days, every event was unique. While now it's just more like I'm just going to the same thing over and over every step. The only thing that changes is, just to be very honest, is in Smash or Tekken where there's upsets. Beyond that, everything in Halo is pretty much the same.
Well, I mean, the main thing that, a lot of people complain about, which is an obvious complaint, which I don't even know if this is necessarily MLG's fault, it's really more Nintendo's fault, is the live stream. A lot of credit goes to Alex Strife for, making sure there was a really quality live stream for his Apex tournaments, and that's something that really helps with the hype. I have a lot of friends that don't even play Smash, they'll play but not competitively, or they just don't even touch the game at all, period. But they know about what I do, and they want to watch, and they want to support. And I feel like if, they had the ability to stream, then that would encourage people to come out. They'd say, I want to be a part of this. I want people to watch me play. I want to be a part of the hype that, cause in the building, when you're actually there, there's tons of hype, it's an amazing feeling, all the big crowds gathering around the TV, and having a stream really, really adds to that. Just actually this afternoon, I wrote a blog on All Is Brawl suggesting that maybe, VG Bootcamp or some other third party, comes in and streams the game themselves, through a camera. I mean, I'm technologically, handicapped, and so I don't really know how that could be done. If someone has some sort of capability, I know there are a lot of people out there that would be willing to watch some sort of bootleg stream, even if the quality isn't that good. I'm sure the community as a whole would be willing to donate money to this individual or a group of people to do something like that, because I feel like our community, like we mentioned at the top, these MLGs have spots for 256 people, and we're on average so far we've been pulling 170, 180 with the exception of Columbus, which nearly sold out. I think we'll be all right for Dallas because, from what I've heard, MLG picking up Smash really depends on whether or not Dallas caps. And I think that kind of sent a wake-up call through the community saying okay, we're on the verge of something great here. We need to step it up. And I think in general, outside of MLG, we're on the verge of something really great. And, the attendance could be massive. But yeah, I digress. MLG needs a stream.
It's not just Nintendo. It's that actually what's going on is that MLG is actually selling their HD. If you notice, you have to purchase a live stream for a certain quality. Because of that, Nintendo, doesn't really believe in that. So that's another reason why that's happening. Also, as far as attendance, I agree with Rich that a part of the community, there is a part that is supporting it, but I am as a tournament organizer, I am very concerned with the state the state of the community in regards to a company backing them. If you notice, a lot of the comments when Adamus made a blog, when Anti made a blog, a lot of the excuses were not that I don't have money or funding, which is understandable, but is actually because, hey, why should I support this company? They're going to drop it anyway. Hey, 128 people is the cap. They're getting misinformed. And because of that, it really worries me that even if MLG drops this, let's just say they do, what company would want to pick this up knowing that the community does not care? I just feel that the community doesn't really get how important this is. And I don't know whether that's because the people in All Is Brawl and Smashboard are younger and they don't understand the concepts, or is it this that they just don't care, or they'd rather just wait till they go to a local where you're paying pretty much the same amount for a less experience. You know?
Definitely, I completely agree with you. And
That's good stuff, Alex.
yeah, like, on the stream, though, just quickly, I just want to say, like, the support that is needed for other players, like Rich Brown said, is immense, and it really sucks there's no stream. I remember when Apex was going, I went to a friend's house, both players who play Smash, but not competitively, and they were so enthralled watching the stream, and I was like, this is what gets people interested in the game. You get those people that normally wouldn't understand the experience, and you get to have it firsthand, not actually there. You know, it's weird, because we don't really know if it's about the community or not. When Gears 2 got dropped earlier this year in favor, or, you know, in Tekken and Smash in the circuit, it was because we were told that it was the lack of support not from the community, but from Epic Games. Because if you aren't aware, Epic kept updating the game server side and, you know, on their side, but not on the console side, so we didn't have the same sort of gameplay online and LAN, and that sort of ruined it. Not to mention the fact that the game, just how we were playing it competitively, which was boring and nobody wanted to play it. But besides the fact that we really don't know, that's just what they're telling us. The community itself for Gears isn't the best, and it doesn't have the grassroots that Smash does, or that other fighters do, that even Halo sort of does. So you have to wonder, you know, in terms of MLG, is it really the community or is it something else? Because they could easily come out and say, we're dropping it because we don't have support from Nintendo like they did with Gears, but it could be the fact that the community doesn't support it or doesn't understand it, and that's what bothers me, because we don't have that confirmation. We really don't know.
Well, the thing is that here's a question for you guys. Have you guys been to local Halo tournaments?
I personally haven't. I know they haven't.
What's the most you've ever seen at a local Halo tournament?
I used to be really active in the Halo community. I was actually a competitive Halo player before I switched to Brawl. But the most you would see at a local event would be about 20 or less 4v4 teams. 20 would be a huge number, so like you could usually expect from 10 to 12 usually.
Yeah, but notice that. Think about that. That's the thing that people don't see with Halo, is that, yes, MLG does a lot for Halo for themselves. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Again, making money is a good thing. You know, a business is a business. But however, if you look at local scenes, they're dead.
Yeah, they really are dead.
MLG destroyed the entire local scene. There were no local tournaments for this, for Halo. And Halo's one of the most popular games. You know, you have, and maybe it's different in Washington. I have to ask Jem, or maybe the Game Clubs guy, but, you know, you don't have these big turnouts. There hasn't been big turnouts in Halo since Halo 2. Now, what's going to happen when they drop Brawl? That's my concern. Because they're using certain things for short-term gains, they're using certain things for long-term gains. And when you have stuff like that happen, you're going to notice, and I can guarantee you, something in the next year or so is going to happen to either our community or just the MLG, like the competitive scene in general, that's going to basically, like, you know, there's going to be a crash. There just has to be a crash, because I just don't see the competitive community in general growing as big as people want it to be, like in Korea. You just have all this stuff going on, and you have MLG trying to be like the Google, or rather the AOL Time Warner, whatever the conglomerate is at the time at this point. And you just see them grabbing every little thing so they can put their name on every little thing. They even got Madden in some way, shape, or form. So when you have all that happen, it makes you wonder what happens when they're done with it. Not that the community's dead, but when their use for it is gone out. So let's just say Smash is dropped and Tekken is dropped. What's going to happen to those? What's going to happen to the websites if they're owned by MLG? Or is MLG going to drop them? Or is MLG going to do what they did with Godfrag and just make them completely pointless to be on? Because Godfrag used to be the biggest site for PC gaming. Now I go on the site. There's, it's pretty useless, except for certain 2 or 3 games, when it used to be like 20 or 30.
I think it just really comes back to the point, too, that at least for now, the community just needs to be more supportive.
Exactly.
It really just comes back to that. I hope you guys really just soaked in everything you heard there, because that was, Alex said some of the stuff we've talked on the phone about some of that, but you said some things that you haven't told me before, and so that just, it's really illuminating, guys. So I just hope you're soaking that in. And you're keeping that in mind when you decide whether or not you're gonna support community events.
All right, now we talked a lot about people throwing their controllers before and the emotions running high. Well, there are some actual controller throwing, or at least tempting moments where people might have wanted to throw their controllers, because there were a lot of upsets at MLGDC. I almost want to say that at this MLG there may have been the most upsets of any of the competitive events so far. The first that I can think of would have to be DSF versus Poltergust. How hype was that? Who remembers that? Yoshi?
Yoshi, dude. Yoshi's not even in this game. Yoshi's not a real character.
It was pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
You have to know that Florida was getting hype over that. If you watch the video again, and there actually is a video, and there is, if you go actually on, it's Korn SSBM. It was Korn from MDVA. He has a bunch of videos from MLGDC, and a lot of the upset matches actually, including the entirety of the final rounds, and then even the reaction of the players themselves. So it's really, really good to watch if you guys want to get a feel for it. They have on Korn's YouTube channel, they have DSF versus versus the Yoshi. And unfortunately for DSF, there was actually another major upset in that he lost to Speed, a Sonic. I believe that was in loser's bracket.
So that was particularly amazing because Alex from DSF almost won that. I remember game 2, he was losing and just kind of went in DSF mode. Remembered how to play the game for 30 seconds and just got off on him. I remember he almost got timed out. He was planking away the last 30 seconds. And then all of a sudden just jumped at him and killed him. But the ending on PictoChat was remarkable because he took speed stock. There was 30 seconds left, and he was at 180 speed at 0, and everyone was like, oh, well, Meta Knight is going to plank. And then Speed, I don't know if it was an accident or what, but hits him with the neutral B, with the homing.
Homing attack!
I don't think anyone saw that coming.
Yeah, that was so sick. Everyone got so hyped. I was like, oh my god.
I mean, it was 0-0 with 10 seconds left. I think everyone thought it was just going to go to a one-stock playoff. And I think Speed hit him with one of those spinny attacks. I guess that's all of Sonic's attacks, but he got him with something and then just ran away. I mean, that was a remarkable come from behind victory there.
That just goes to show you that people don't know about Sonic's homing attack. People just don't know about it.
The Brawl backroom was definitely correct when they said that Sonic's homing attack was too broken.
If you guys have ever seen what I've seen of Sonic versus Falco, if you catch Falco off stage with a homing attack before he uses his side B, he's dead. He's not coming back. He's gonna go out and possibly down.
One of the big upsets that I saw that nobody really talked about is actually Junebug versus Larry.
Are you kidding me? That was an amazing upset. I was just gonna mention that next, Alex. Thanks for stealing it. No, go ahead.
I just saw that match and I was just amazed by Junebug. I felt like, I'm not going to John for Larry, even though I'm a big Larry fanboy. I have no problem admitting that. I felt like he wasn't playing his best, but at the same time, he really should have had that set. But Junebug and I give credit to Junebug. Junebug totally outplayed him that match, last match. And another big upset that I see it was an upset until they ran it back, was Slick Vic beating Nick Riddle, which, I love Slick Vic and he's a good friend of mine. I'm surprised he beat Nick Riddle when he told me.
There's that gimp at the end. I mean, that probably had the biggest crowd out of anyone actually, because I remember it was really hard to get a spot to watch, and Nick Riddle was just kind of getting off on him at the end. Slick Vic was at 90, Nick Riddle was only, I want to say 30 or 40. And he screwed something up at the end, and Zero Suit has all these crazy tricks on FD where she can bounce off all this stuff, and he got Slick Vic just grabbing the edge. He does not give a flying fuck. Just on the edge, just waiting, for Nick Riddle to die, and Nick Riddle's just kind of waiting for him to jump off, and he's just doing all of these like little weird floaty things, just hanging out there forever. And he finally just fell and died, and it was remarkable.
So, actually, on the subject of Nick Riddle versus Slick Vic, that match almost caused me to lose my match versus King Toon, because I'm trying to focus my match versus King Toon with already have all of Philadelphia shit talking me, and that's about like 30 people just screaming at me. So, on top of that, the hype from Nick Riddle versus Slick Vic was just piercing my ears. There's about 100 people watching that just screaming, and I was on the TV right next to it. So, I could not focus at all, and that almost caused me to lose. I was so mad.
It's interesting because that's not the first time that Philadelphia has gotten on your back, Fadel. I remember you've had several instances where you had to deal with them. And you know what, though? I respect that, because you still came over adversity and you really did what you needed to do to beat King Toon. And King Toon's not a walk in the park. And, and I think that's why I like Philadelphia so much, is because they trash talk you, but it's not it's not like, no offense to Will, but DA trash talk where it's it's kind of a little bit excessive. They just do it and they have good, clean fun with it, which is what you really want in an event. I love it.
Yeah, actually in the match where Vinny was playing Squall, Vinny really wanted our support behind him because it's infamous up here where PA has the trash talk effect, and that Vinny's a very emotional player, so he really didn't want that getting to him. So we actually had Long Island and other people behind him, and Long Island managed to pull off some amazing trash talk too, and Vinny got the win against Squall. It was pretty awesome.
Speaking of PA, do you think maybe that had a reason why X-Ax 2-0 Chu? Who saw
Oh my God, that's the one.
Yes. No, actually, PA actually didn't say much that match. X-Ax was just really, really, really on. Really on. He was not messing up a chain grab, a double laser, anything. He just was in the zone. He 2-0'd Chu with a 2-stock game 2. And everybody was just so hype over that.
And you can't even, Chu can't even John saying he doesn't know the matchup because, the infamous Pound 4. And he almost came to SoCal and almost did the exact same thing. But obviously Chu is, very, knowledgeable in the Falco matchup. So a lot of credit, a lot of props to X-Ax for solidly 2-0-ing.
Chu is an amazing player, and you know what? All the credit goes to X-Ax. He didn't beat Chu. He humiliated Chu, and as soon as Chu lost, Chu wanted to money match him immediately. He's really salty. He's coming up. He's coming up from BC to come after him. He wants to play him. He wants to beat him. He wants to show that, it was a fluke, it happens. And you know what, as long as they keep, that's another thing about Smash I respect. It's it's clean. It's not I'm going to, Marvel, I'm going to beat you up. I'm going to slice your tires. Yes, that did happen. Somebody sliced the tires over a money match. But they want to fight. The competition is just so fierce, and that's another thing.
I'm not gonna lie, to this day, I still get scared when I see a black person walk up to a Marvel machine. I legitimately get frightened for my life.
I actually drove through a very ghettoish part of, I believe it's Hartford, I guess, Monday for a college interview, and I swear to God, I went by an arcade, and there was a full-on arcade packed.
Did you see Yipes?
No.
I bet you Yipes was there.
I don't know. I was honestly really scared. There was this old grandma on a motorized wheelchair just booking it down the sidewalk, going a solid 15 miles per hour.
Well, she's scared of the people playing Marvel too.
Most likely.
Okay, one of the most interesting things I noticed was just the skill gap closing with a lot of the players, specifically M2K, who's considered the top player. We had matches like Havoc versus M2K, which went to last game. We had obviously we had the Rich Browns and the the ADHDs, but the matches that M2K did win, they were very, very close. Look at M2K versus Esom. One hit, you could be talking about probably one of the greatest tournaments in the history of Smash. And then on top of that, you got Anti's had so much trouble with him. He always used to get 2 stock. Now he's coming, last hit with the guy. And, it really shows you not the ease of the game, but rather how, if you learn a person's play style, how much better it can be. But overall, that's why I really think is amazing. And it really just shows us the community and how much closer everything can be in terms of gameplay.
Hey, speaking of Anti and his matches, I gotta give a shout out to Mike Hayes for 2-0ing Anti in some really, really amazing matches. I mean, you guys really gotta get on YouTube. Like, pause this thing you're listening to and go watch those right now, because Mike did some crazy stuff. Just remarkable. So
yeah, there were. I actually just got done watching that today, and I was surprised they were up, but I was happy because I saw it was Game 2 on Rainbow Cruise, and there were so many tippers, so many clutch tippers. Like, he was losing by I don't want to say almost a full stock, and it's pretty incredible what he managed to pull off. So that was
tipper
really
on the second stock, I think the tipper killed it. He hit him when he was at 50 or something, and he died. It was amazing. And he took out Ally. I mean, yeah, major props to Mike. Mike and I have been practicing a lot here in SoCal, and I know he really wanted to do well, and he really stepped it up, getting that top 8, beating out Ally and Anti.
Well, actually, on the subject of Mike Hayes, I'd just like to comment that I actually beat him 2-0, but it was consolation, but there was $150 on the line, and apparently he was sandbagging and doesn't like money, so that's kind of weird. I just want to throw that out there.
Okay, keep going.
What the hell?
I'm sorry, I sneezed and I didn't mute my mic, and I couldn't.
That's the part where you mute your mic, Dakota.
I was trying so hard, but I couldn't.
So far we haven't actually talked about doubles at all. But if you guys haven't seen it already, Ally and Mewtwo King actually lost doubles, taking second to Nairo and Anti, and it was definitely one of the most hyped, exciting grand final set. Even though half of it was quad meta, it was still really exciting to watch. And I don't know, just as Alex was saying, that the skill gap is definitely closing up.
Yeah, I just want to say that Nairo glides so weird, and it throws me off.
Oh my god, yes. We in New York, New Jersey were definitely telling everybody. I know Will was telling people, he was sitting next to Lee, and he's like, watch this, Nairo's gonna do some tricky glide shit, and you're not gonna know what's happening. And sure enough, Nairo did some crazy glides that he always does up here in locals, and it was, everybody got impressed.
Yeah, I don't know how to get around that.
I was so hyped when Anti and Nairo playing versus Ally and Mewtwo King. I'm surprised I didn't put money down, because Nairo's play style is so aggressive and so ridiculous that when you play him for the first time, you will not know what's going on. He does. I know he's only 13 years old. He plays versus computers, but the way his mindset on the game is, what cool combos can I do to you, and in what new and creative and different ways, and how can I destroy you in the quickest and coolest looking way possible? That's his play style. That's all.
But no matter what, Nairo still looks like Diddy Kong.
I want to say one thing about those two, and this is a prediction, and usually my predictions come true. I will predict by pound 5, I predict, and I can guarantee this with certainty, that Anti's going to win. I predict that Anti will be beating. I predict Anti will be beating M2K.
I will put money that Anti will not even go to pound 5.
Oh no. Well, I'll drag him, but regardless, I think Anti will be beating M2K very soon, because
Long Island.
Anti's just that smart.
We're gonna drag him. I'm pretty sure Long Island is gonna have to drag Anti out to pound 5, like we dragged him out to this, like we drag him out to every national, because he wants to stay home, play Call of Duty, and
post Facebook status.
Yeah, post Facebook statuses.
Getting that booty at the club
Facebook
and getting the
every
bitches.
5 minutes. Every 5 minutes, this kid is crazy. But
if you guys,
I think I could definitely see him doing really well at pound, because because traveling makes you better, and I believe that was like his first time. Wasn't that his first time leaving his like immediate area to go to something huge?
Well, he went to COT4, which was PA.
That doesn't count.
But I mean,
That's
yeah.
still Tri-State, dude.
I know.
That's
I'm
still
just saying.
Auntie actually came to Boston once, and that's a pretty good distance, I guess.
Oh yeah, you're right. I remember that.
No, but this is definitely the farthest that he's ever traveled to a national.
Yeah, there's no denying that.
Well, now we'll push him to go to more nationals, because he actually says it himself that and it's kind of sad, because I don't know if he necessarily plays the game for fun, because he definitely says that he does it for the money. I don't know if you guys have heard him say that, but he's definitely good enough to say that, so I mean, it's whatever. But that was definitely an upset. As Rich said, it was Mike Hayes versus Anti. I was actually, in my mind, I found that Marth beating any Meta Knight 2-0 is really crazy. Anyway, we'll go back. We want to talk about the upsets. And let's go back to Fatal. You versus Tyrant. Now, what can you remember about that? Like, just try to go through it like the play-by-play. We want to hear it, because that was a really crazy upset, I think.
Alright, so game 1 was Smashville, Snake versus Meta Knight, of course. Each stock was really close. No one really got a hefty lead. Tyrant basically took each stock first, and then I won, so I obviously took the last stock before him, but, he held the lead most of the game, and I basically just held it together and took the win game 1. I was really excited. I was like, now I get to, even if I lose the next game, now I get to play on one of my best stages, because I have about 3 good stages, and he only has 1 ban, so he counterpicked Rainbow Cruise. That was awful. I think I lost in like 2 minutes. He 2-stocked me like so fast. I was like, alright, whatever, it's a gay state. I usually beat Meta Knights on Rainbow Cruise, but Tyrant he's just way too good, and I couldn't beat him on there, so I just shook it off, and then I counterpicked FD, which I have beat pretty good Meta Knights on before, so I was pretty confident I had this. Throughout the match, he basically held the lead the whole entire time until the end. When it was 1 stock apiece, I started pulling away, and then I tripped him with a forward tilt, and then comboed that into an up tilt for the win, and I was so happy. I was so excited, and like I had everyone from New England behind me just getting my back, and Auntie was next to me, giving me rooting for me, and it just felt good to have a lot of people supporting me, because I was used to people not supporting me, so that was nice. And apparently Mike Hayes screamed West Coast to Auntie, and I was supposed to scream East Coast to Tyrant, but I was too excited, and I wasn't really paying attention to anybody.
It sounds like it's actually one of the things that Mike does every time he makes a huge comeback or like a really clutch win. But, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's cooler to say West Coast. I don't know if any of us have ever screamed East Coast, but you know what? I'm going to start doing that from now on.
I have, yeah.
Really?
Your logic is flawed.
Sorry, Will.
Well, I mean, next time I play, I guess, you know what? It's probably because I haven't played a West Coast player and had an epic win yet. So then the first time that I do, I'm definitely going to scream it right now.
First time you beat somebody good, we'll let you know, Will.
Oh, shut up, Alex. What the hell are you talking about?
We're going to get to, obviously, the big match for Mewtwo King next, but you obviously played Grand Finals against ADHD getting second. Tell us about that.
Well, by the time I got into Grand Finals, I was like completely exhausted, because I did not think I was going to get so far. Obviously everyone hopes they get that far, but I wanted top 8, and I just kept going along. So by the time I was there, I was really exhausted, really wanted to pull it out, and it was probably by that point I hadn't eaten in a while, and so I was playing a little slower, and I think that ADHD was really warmed up, because he had just played a lot of consecutive matches, and he adjusted really well, and I felt like he was moving, just a little faster. I just went back and watched the set, the grand final set this morning, and I realized I was getting hit by a lot of his same setups where he'd run off the edge, pull 2 bananas, and then instant throw 1, and it was just coming after me, and I wasn't quite moving quick enough. I'd block, I was thinking like 3 steps ahead, but he was thinking 4 or 5 steps ahead. And it was very close. Like, all 3 matches were last stock high percent, and particularly at the end of game 1 of grand finals, which I guess would technically be game 6. If I had an up smash opportunity where if I had read his spot dodge, that would be the game, and that would have given me a big lead, and maybe would have given me more whatever it is. What's not motivation, but
inspiration.
What's
imagination?
No, when I don't know. But anyways,
momentum.
Momentum. Thank you, momentum. Would
There
give
we
me more
go.
momentum, going into the future games, but yeah, he was moving real fast. He adapted really well, and I couldn't adapt back in time. So it was unfortunate, but I think I'll be ready for him next time, because that was one of the biggest things that helped me preparing for DC was just watching videos, particularly watching a lot of Brood's videos and just seeing what he did and what he did right and what he did wrong, so I didn't get hit by the stuff that he got hit by. So yeah, definitely the next couple of weeks just watching that grand final set, over and over again, and just trying to figure out what specifically went on.
Awesome. And finally, earlier than that, actually, a lot earlier than we originally thought, you versus Mewtwo King, big match. Tell us all about that.
Oh man, okay, thought you'd never ask. Well, again, like I mentioned earlier, I had been doing a lot of preparation. It was actually kind of funny. I was practicing with Larry, because I'm really fortunate that Larry lives pretty close to me. So we were practicing, and he told me, he's like, "Hey, I have an idea. Let's go Meta Knight against each other, and just for like 5 minutes at a time, just do almost nothing but spam NATO and learn how to punish it." And so that alone got me really good at, punishing his NATOs and learning how to get out of them when I got hit by them. And just going back and just, again, studying videos and just a lot of Meta Knight practice. And that's actually kind of funny, too, because I thought I was actually supposed to play Ally, but because Co-18 didn't show up, it shifted the seeding a little bit, which put me into Jason's bracket. So at first I was a little crushed because the first 2 MLGs, or the last 2 actually that I've been to, I haven't made it past round 5, and here I am playing Jason round 5. So I started to get upset, and I was like, you know what? Like, I can do this. It just started with that. It just started with having a good mindset and just believing that you could win. And so that way, because if you believe you can win, even if you're getting hit by a lot of stuff at a time, it's like, all right, I can bring this back. And especially considering the character I play, my character is always capable of bringing it back. So I got real lucky with stage striking. He decided to let me play on Castle Siege, which that's actually one of the stages I counterpick against Meta Knight. So I basically started game 1 on one of my favorite stages, and I could feel his nervousness just because he had lost to Brood, and I knew he wasn't that good against Olimar, and I knew I probably had the best shot out of most of the people in that room. So I stayed real calm, just remembered my spacing. I'm capable. I know what Meta Knight can and can't do, and I just kept all of it in mind, stayed alert, and I was able to take that first game. And taking that first game, I did my best not to get too excited because I was just, I was texting. I text my mom throughout all of these. She's very supportive of what I do, and I told her, I was like, oh my god, I just took game 1 off this guy, and she's like, all right, just stay calm, keep a level head. You still got some work to do. And I knew Jason was going to be coming after me because this is Mewtwo King. He doesn't go away quietly. And he got up, he started talking to a bunch of people, trying to figure out what to do. And he kind of picked me to Norfair, and it was really close. He started getting off of me kind of at the end, and I was like, all right, I think I'm going to try to spike him because that's my best opportunity. And I missed horribly, like really bad. I whiffed it and I died. And I was like, all right, well, whatever, that's fine, because I think there's actually a mental edge to killing yourself at the end of the game, or killing yourself on any stock and not actually letting your opponent take the stock. Because I know that I hate it when I get someone to 190 and then they kill themselves by accident or whatever. So I knew there was kind of a mental edge there. So I wanted to get game 3 started right away. I didn't want him to be happy that he won or anything. So I get game 3 started, and Jason just starts wailing on me, and I'm just like, ah, damn it, okay. And I get him away, and I get a little bit of damage on him, and then he kills me. And from that, I mean, I've watched the set at least 20 times since then, but honestly, if you had asked me right after the set what I did to win, I wouldn't be able to tell you. I just kind of went into a zone and was just remembered my spacing and just got, little chip hits on them here and there. Going back and watching the set, I got a really, really lucky, purple up smash kill. And, there was one point in the set where I think I kind of made me and him and the whole room watching realize, oh man, I could take this. He nadoed me and he, retreated, and I read his spot dodge with a purple up smash that nearly killed him. There had been another couple percent, he would have died. But at that point, I think I was really in his head. And then just from there, I just kept getting the hits in, and he had some chances to kind of get me at the end, because I had a set, like I mentioned earlier, my set versus Tyrant and Rally where I should have won and he gimped me. That was in the back of my mind the entire time. I was just oh my god, if this happens again, I'm just gonna run away crying or something. I don't even know. So I was letting him hit me. I was anything to avoid that shuttle loop, and I was able to get the blue grab, and I threw him right away so he couldn't DI, and I mean, he kind of hung in that blast zone for what seemed like an eternity, and then finally, he exploded and he died, and I was just, from there, I was able to kind of let the happiness come in. I was able just to let myself just enjoy what happened, and I yelled a bunch of incoherent things. Havoc ran on stage and hugged me. I was, shouting at East Coast, shouting at Poyo, who was, if you go back and watch those videos, I'm pretty sure Poyo literally wanted me to die because I beat his hero. And, yeah, that was it from start to finish. It's been, it's been awesome just because that's been such a big goal of mine, ever since I started, really, just to beat the best player. And so now to be in the position that I'm in, I'm ranked 8th overall in the MLG standings. And if I win one round in bracket, I play him again. So, I mean, it's crazy, just to be in this position, particularly because the Tuesday before MLG, I was at Larry's house and Larry was just beating the crap out of me, and I was just getting I had a lot of anxiety going into this. And so to go from that anxiety, that nervousness, to now know that, the best player in the nation is afraid of my character, it's just, it's amazing. It really is amazing. Words can't describe how amazing that whole experience was and how I feel. And now it's a quick turnaround, to MLG Dallas. It's less than 3 weeks away. As soon as we're done here, I got to go locate a plane ticket and get over there. And because now, I'm enjoying this, but now there's a target on my back. People are going to come after me, and I got to be ready for everyone gunning for my character. Everyone's going to learn about my character, and you know what? I just got to be ready. Just keep doing all the same stuff I did,
All right, everybody, that brings us to the end of episode 7, a pretty epic episode. I have to thank everybody here for joining us, Rich Brown, Alex Strife, Matt, and other Matt, Fatal, and Will, obviously. VV Gaming for hosting the site, 7 episodes in. Everybody at Smashwords and All's Brawl, helping us up and being supportive. Can't do it without you guys. Hit us up on our Facebook or why do I always say MySpace? We don't have a fucking MySpace, and we're never going to get one. All as well blogs, as well as my Twitter. You can follow us there for updates on the show. And, just gotta say, I really, really appreciate all the feedback and all the support we've gotten from everybody. Thanks for listening. Seriously. I don't know, guys, shout outs, give me them.
I want to give a shout out to all my New England people that were supporting me at MLGDC. That would be TV, Biscuit, Blood Cross, and shout out to my girlfriend Starlight for supporting me with happy texts and all that good stuff that was making me play really good. I want to shout out to Kool-Aid, who is my team's partner in New England, and he's the best.
Rich?
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to all SoCals traveling out to these MLGs, Tyrant, Mike, Alex, Terry, Carlos, Tyrant, Mike, Alex, who am I forgetting? Oh, I'm forgetting someone. Tyrant. Larry, yeah, well, no, I was saving Larry for later. Larry gets
Terry?
a special shout out.
Terry.
Terry, you guys all know who you are. Larry in particular, dude, you've helped me so much. You've encouraged me. You've gotten me to the point I am. Major thanks to all the help. Just a couple other people real quick. Fiction, super shout out to my boy Typh. Yeah, and the rest of SoCal for being really supportive of what I've done. The Olimar boards, Fino, Hilt, Logic, The Buzz.
I also want to give a shout out to my parents who supported me. They paid for my ticket to MLG, so I love them. They're the best.
Oh yeah. Major parental shout outs. Like, I wanted to give my mom a shout out earlier for, she's the one I always text her and I'm like, yo, this is what's going on, and she always says the right thing to me, which helps. So yeah, my parents, my family, you guys, you probably won't even ever hear this, but
yeah, mine either.
Okay. Shout outs to the love of my life, Kristen DeSaro Christmas. Shout out to all my friends, Vans, D1, Blackanese, my friend Zivic, got 65th, baby, getting up there, bro. You almost beat Exacts. And also shout out to the Smash community. Don't forget, guys, this weekend, Viridian City 8, October 23rd. That's my birthday. I better see 100 people there.
With that said, join us next week for episode 8. We're not sure what we're doing, but it'll be pretty awesome. Not sure if it'll be able to top this. But thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next week on Directional Influence.